On June 14, 2014, my husband, John Rehm, age 83, began his withdrawal from life. The aides at Brighton Gardens were instructed to stop bringing medications, menus, or water. His decision to die came after a long and difficult conversation the day before with Dr. Roy Freed, his primary physician, our son David, our daughter Jennifer, who was on the phone from Boston, and me. John declared to Dr. Freed that because Parkinson's disease had so affected him that he no longer had the use of his hands, arms, or legs, because he could no longer stand, walk, eat, bathe, or in any way care for himself on his own, he was now ready to die. He said that he understood the disease was progressing, taking him further and further into incapacity with no hope of improvement. Therefore, he wanted to end his life. Clearly, his expectation and his misunderstanding was that now that he had made his decision, he could simply be put to sleep immediately with medication. When Dr. Freed explained that he was unable to carry out John's wishes, that he was prohibited from committing such an act in the state of Maryland, John became very angry. He said, "I feel betrayed." Tears came into his eyes, tears of frustration and disappointment. Here was a man who had lived his life able, for the most part, to take charge of events, to be certain that his well-considered decisions would be carried out. And now he was making the ultimate decision and having it thwarted. It was then that Dr. Freed explained that the only alternative John had, if he truly wished to die, was to stop eating, drinking fluids, or taking medications. In other words, he could bring his life to an end through those means, but no one could do it for him. Dr. Freed added that he hoped John would not make the decision to end his life, but that if he did so, as his physician, he would honor it. My husband had moved into assisted living at Brighton Gardens in Chevy Chase, Maryland, in November 2012 because he could no longer stand or walk without falling or care for himself without assistance. We'd spent months talking about the decision we both knew was coming. We went over and over various possibilities, such as having someone move into our apartment to care for him on a 24-hour basis. But we knew that wouldn't work. There was simply not enough room for another human to be here full-time. Most days, I spent part of the afternoon with John at Brighton Gardens. Sometimes we'd sit silently, particularly in the weeks immediately after he moved in. Although he never admitted feeling resentful, it was clear he was unhappy. He had a private room, but was now in an institution in the company of strangers, eating foods he didn't care for in a large communal dining room, and feeling an extreme loss of privacy. But slowly, he regained his sense of humor, his interest in world events, and his happiness each time I walked through the door. Over the years, John and I had talked many times about how we wanted to die. We had promised that we would do everything we could to support each other's wishes in the face of debilitating and unalterable conditions. Yet here I was, helpless to keep my promise. I could do nothing but listen as he railed against a medical and judicial system that prohibited a doctor from helping him die, even knowing that what awaited him was prolonged misery, further decline, and, to his mind, loss of dignity. So John did what I dreaded, but I knew in my heart he would do. He declared he would stop eating, drinking, or taking medications. He asked Dr. Freed how long the process of dying would last, and was told it could be 10 days to 2 weeks. John wanted to know, "Will I be in pain?" "Absolutely not," responded Dr. Freed. "I promise you, you will be kept comfortable."